Meanwhile, they've also crunched the analytics for this week and produced the European Team of the Week. And the front three is quite interesting. It is Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo and Kylian Mbappe. Of course, in theory, this could be Real Madrid's front three next season. Gab, looking at overall, of course, there's talk that they can't be bothered with Mbappe and all the baggage that he brings now. Is this a smokescreen, do you think?
Well, it's funny. I don't know what these numbers means and who produced this, but it's just funny because Mbappe, of course, scored a hat-trick at the weekend in the win over Rams, but he got an absolute slaughtering from Luis Enrique by Luis Enrique standards. He was critical of his performance. He talked about how he can do more. He wants him to do more, and so on. He almost challenged him to contribute more. And I think this goes back to the old thing about Mbappe off the ball. Does he press? Does he do this work? I think it's also not coincidental that he's a free agent at the end of the season, right?
He scored the hat-trick and got roasted by his manager for his lack of work rate. So kind of helped the team out in some sense, obviously, by that. But 4 days before, he wasn't on the goals and did absolutely nothing in Milan against the Milan side, who were the better side. And I think that's the problem, is that OK, in France, if he gets a couple of goals and he's a bit lazy, it's not ideal, but it's who he is. But Luis Enrique's seen the downside of it in the Champions League, for sure. And
I think this is him. This is the guy. This is the way he is now. You think he's ever going to change?
No.
That's what Real Madrid have to decide. If
he's going to change for Real Madrid if he doesn't run for France. I think he doesn't run. Is only prepared to have a limited amount of work rate that Deschamps has to accept, as Julian Laurens has said, has to accept that, is what it is. Why would it be different for Real Madrid if it's not for his country?
Because he's still brilliant, isn't he? Yeah, but he's
still
he's still an exceptional talent. He's still going to bring you goodness knows how many goals a season, which Real Madrid need.
But why is he going to change? Regardless of what team he plays.
So if you're Xabi Alonso, you're taking over at Real Madrid, say, next season, do you want him?
Well, yes, of course you do, right?
Because, OK,
that first goal you saw, it's ridiculous how easy he made that look. Have you any idea how difficult that is? Really? He made it look as though that was just a piece of cake. But if you're Real Madrid, the question is this guy going to be... Is this it? Right. Is there anybody capable of making him do a little bit more work or any sort of work?
But what you would tell me, if I'm a coach, I believe I've got the ego, I think I can get the best out of him. I can get him working.
You do. I mean, you do. As a coach, you always think you can. You think you're going to be the person to do it.
Yeah.
But looking on the outside, do you have to put up with this? Which seems a strange thing to say for a guy who's so good. Do I have to put up with this? But that's the question right now. Do you put up with the other stuff? Because you know he's going to produce goals.
Frank, what do you think?
Well, I think I've been criticising him after the game, and I was completely agreeing with Enrique that he has to do more. Now, what is it that we want him to do more? He's not chasing back. He's not the type of player who's going to do that. We just want him to get back into position, to maybe try to get the ball back, if he can, very close to him. I mean, we have the example of hundreds of players who used to not do the job as defender. The closest from us is Lionel Messi. I mean, don't tell me that Messi was going back and trying to get the ball back. I didn't see him doing that. I mean, he runs maybe 3-4 kilometers per game. Everybody's happy with that. But we just want to see the attitude being different from Mbappe when he loses the ball. That's the only thing that I think he has to change. It doesn't mean that he has to run back like Cavani used to do, and that was very appreciated. But he has other talents that he has to be fresh in order to show. So that's the thing. You have to find the right balance. And if he goes to Madrid, I think one word from, for example, Xabi Alonso, if he's the coach, to tell him will be enough to Mbappe to just be concerned about repositioning himself. but being fresh enough to show his talent at front when they play offensively.
I mean, it would be fun if he goes to Madrid, wouldn't it, really? Give us plenty to talk about.
Well, yeah, I think as a football fan, that's what you want to see. You want to see the best players at the best teams in the best league.
And it's not, and with all respect, it's not playing. No. It's not playing in France. Most of the great players from France have exported out, haven't they?
Last word to you on this, Cam.
No, I was just going to say there's a very good example of somebody who kind of transitioned, who's a devastating attacking player, and then kind of after he moved, changed managers, became more of a comprehensive player, and that's Mohamed Salah, who at Fiorentina, at Roma, he was very, very productive as an attacking player, but also because those were the coach's instructions. So he said, all right, Mo, you just stay there. We'll win the ball and we'll give it to you. You'll run at everybody, beat them and score. And that's what he did. And he did it really, really well. And then he moves to the Premier League. He works under Jurgen Klopp, where there's a different system. And Klopp gets him and Sadio Mane and Firmino and that first iteration of Liverpool to go and to work and to press and to shield the midfield. And guess what? He still scored a ton of goals, maybe even more goals, and became an even better player than he was, and his team became more successful. I think if you're a coach, maybe that's the transition you look for Mbappe to make, something like that. I mean, you don't have to tell him, oh, look, you can be like Salah, because you'll say, oh, look, I'm better than Salah. Okay, great. But it's that kind of transition that you could hope to make and turn it into a more successful team. And Xabi Alonso at Bayer Leverkusen, if he indeed is the next Real Madrid manager, he's gotten a tune out of taking players who were kind of purely attacking and making them or finding ways for them to be more part of the collective, work harder on and off the ball. So maybe he is the key to unlocking Mbappe next season. Who knows?